Hello, movie lovers. Welcome to the Does It Hold Up news. I'm Adam. If you're looking for the box office stuff, make sure to check out the video that came out this past Tuesday. As moving forward, we're going to do box office stuff on Tuesday. We're going to do weekly news on Thursdays. Well, I say weekly, but we're only going to do a show if there's actually something to talk about. This week, we do have two things to touch upon. First up, let's talk about the SAG-AFTRA strike. As you know, it's still going on. It's now in its 91st day as of today, and it's the third longest strike in history. And last week, we thought there was hope that it was actually going to end. SAG-AFTRA and the AMPTP got together twice to discuss how they could end this strike and everybody could get back to work. Well, news broke about what happened over there, and it's not good news. In fact, this strike will continue. And it may not end anytime soon, as I thought maybe it would, because according to the AMPTP, the two sides are way too far apart to actually come to an understanding at this point in time. SAG-AFTRA on their end has said the proposal that the AMPTP has brought forth this time is worth less than they proposed before the strike began. Once again, just confirming they're way too far apart. SAG also went on to say that they are using bullying tactics, the same ones they used against the WGA halfway through their strike, to try to force the SAG union to agree to their terms. This means that they're releasing the details of their proposal to members of the union, trying to supersede the leadership, go around them, and make sure that the members know what's being proposed. And if they like it, they might force the union leaders to actually accept the new proposal. It's probably not a great tactic. It didn't work with the WGA. It's not going to work now. So, after meeting twice last week, having these discussions, there are no plans for them to discuss anything further for the times coming up. I don't know what's going to happen here. I feel like it has to end sooner rather than later because so many people are hurting right now because of what's happening. And if you could make a deal with the WGA, make a deal with SAG. Give them what they want, just like you did with the WGA. Come as close to possible as giving them everything they've asked for, and let's all just get back to work. In other news, Alec Baldwin might go back to court. Might. So if you remember 2 years ago, he was part of a fatal shooting on the set of the indie western Rust, where he was pointing the gun at the cinematographer when it went off and she was accidentally killed. Well, the charges against him earlier this year were completely dropped for involuntary manslaughter, but new special prosecution has said they are looking to refile manslaughter charges against Alec Baldwin in an attempt to get him back into court, where they will have to release production notes and financial documents about the film, of which Baldwin's also a producer. Basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to strong-arm the production who has in the past refused to hand over these production notes because they want to take a look at what the budget was for safety. They want to see where all the money was spent, how it was delegated, and did they spend enough money on safety, or were there concerns there prior to production starting? Because if there was concerns, well, guess who's going to be at fault? The producers of the movie. If that's the case, then they will refile charges of manslaughter against Alec Baldwin and a few other things related to the idea that he's a producer on the movie. Stick around on the channel. I'll check in with both of these stories as new things come up. Every Thursday, I'll report back to you guys as long as there's something new. In other news, there's a new Nick Cage movie coming to theaters next week, October 20th, called Butcher's Crossing. And I actually had the opportunity to get a screener for this movie, check it out this past week. It's a very interesting film. It's an old Western setting back during the late 1800s when buffaloes were being slaughtered to no end out in the West. Nick Cage plays a buffalo hunter, and it's not bad. We're going to have a full review on the channel for it this Saturday, so make sure you come back to check that out. New movies coming out this weekend. Obviously, we have Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. I've talked enough about it on this channel, and so has a million other people, but it's going to be the biggest movie this weekend, and that's why nobody can stop talking about it. But other movies opening this weekend. In limited release, we have a movie called Anatomy of a Fall, about a family, Sandra, her husband Samuel, and her son Daniel, who live in a remote area of the French Alps. When the husband Samuel is discovered dead in the snow, police open up an investigation which will reveal a ton of secrets about this family. It opens in limited release, but make sure you know this is a French film when going into it. Gotta warn people of that. They're not always sure where these movies originate from. Another movie coming out this weekend is The Burial. It's inspired by true events about a lawyer who helps a funeral home director save his family's business from a giant corporate takeover. It stars Jamie Foxx, Tommy Lee Jones, Journey Smollett, Alan Ruck, and Mamadou Athie. It's directed by Maggie Betts, and it's streaming actually this Friday on Prime Video. It's an interesting looking movie. It's a courtroom drama, so if you like those things, might be worth checking out. What's really interesting is it's going to be Electro versus Two-Face in a courtroom. Weird sentence to say, but if they promoted it that way, it would probably get more viewers. One new thing we're adding to the news show here is box office predictions. I'm going to tell you what I think the top 5 movies over the weekend are going to be, and then on Tuesday, when we do our box office roundup, you can take a look to see how close I was to being right, or how horribly wrong I was. So this weekend, the Eras Tour is going to open at number 1, and I imagine it's going to make somewhere around $110 million domestically. That might even be low. I could see it going a lot higher, especially because AMC Theaters just announced that you can actually see it today, Thursday, October 12th. They added new showtimes, and they keep adding more showtimes over the weekend because they all keep selling out. The Exorcist Believer will probably drop to number 2 with another $10 million. Paw Patrol will then fall to number 3 with $8 million. I think The Creator's actually going to jump ahead of Saw X this weekend and have a better hold, bringing in somewhere around $5 million, with Saw X rounding out the top 5 with just under $5 million, maybe about 4.8. But again, check back in on Tuesday to see how well I predicted this weekend's box office. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my top 5. Until next week, just remember to be good to yourself, be kind to others, and as always, keep watching movies.